The protagonist in our tale, Jason, is a typical 18-year-old casually video chatting with a friend who supplies him with illicit substances. When his friend asks if he can receive the delivery at his house, Jason, in his teenage carelessness, agrees. Cut to Jason's father, John Matthews, the dedicated owner of a construction company. After a taxing workday, he spots Daniel, one of his employees, struggling with cement sacks. John rolls up his sleeves and joins Daniel, earning his gratitude. Meanwhile, a messenger arrives at Jason's door. Upon opening it, Jason finds a camera and a stash of drugs, realizing he has walked into a police trap. Fearing the consequences, Jason makes a frantic run, closely pursued by the police who eventually apprehend him. Away from home, John is enjoying a social gathering when he receives a message from his ex-wife, Sylvie Collins. The news she shares makes him uneasy. Their son Jason has been arrested for drug trafficking. Rushing to the police station, John first meets his lawyer, Jay Price, and then his ex. Jay explains the situation. Jason was not a dealer. Instead, his so-called friend set him up to reduce the severity of his own punishment. Jason is confronted with charges that could lead to a minimum of 10 years in prison. To navigate this situation, convincing Jason to serve as bait and help catch more significant players in the drug trade is the only viable option. John, deeply desperate and ridden with guilt while fearing for his son's life, strives to persuade his attorney, Jay, that Jason is just a regular young man who ended up with the wrong crowd. Despite John's efforts, Jay presents the stark reality: Jason's best chance for a lighter sentence is to collaborate with the police in apprehending additional drug dealers. Since Jason was caught red-handed with a substantial amount of drugs, the court proceedings swiftly advance. The judge moves up the trial date and mandates that Jason remains in jail until then. Facing this dilemma, Jason is joined by John, Sylvie, and Jay, who lay out his options. They try to convince him to assist in removing more drug dealers to reduce his prison sentence. However, Jason insists he has no knowledge of significant figures in the drug trade. He only knows small-time criminals who do it for fun, and exposing them would ruin their lives as well as his own. Leaving the room, John is overwhelmed with increased anxiety, the persistent tension taking a toll on him day by day. Leveraging his connections, John arranges several meetings with the local U.S. Attorney, Joanne Keegan, who actively supports her congressional candidacy by battling drugs. Sharing every detail, including his son's situation, John sincerely pleads with Joanne. However, she outright dismisses him, asserting that Jason was caught with a substantial stash. Disheartened, John leaves her office and goes to the prison to visit Jason. Witnessing Jason's deteriorating physical state, marked by cuts and bruises from a prison beating, chills run down John's spine. Overwhelmed with emotion, Jason breaks into tears, recalling his early years spent with his father. He confesses that enduring 10 years in such a harsh environment, where beatings seem inevitable, feels insurmountable. Seeing his son in such a distressing state, John is devastated. Troubled by the visit, he ventures into the city's underworld, where drugs are exchanged in poorly lit corners. Formulating a daring plan to identify some dealers and hand them over to the police, John's intentions become evident. However, the dealers brutally beat him, causing his plan to backfire. Saved by the police at the last moment, Joanne Keegan confronts John upon discovering his risky mission. She makes it clear that even if John had succeeded in capturing someone, it wouldn't have impacted Jason's case. Desperate for a way to reduce his son's sentence, John pleads with Joanne. Finally, offering a glimmer of hope, Joanne sets a condition: John must identify a significant dealer with a minimum of 1 kilogram of the illicit substance. While acknowledging that capturing a major drug lord won't be easy, John mentions potential leads among his construction crew, comprising a diverse mix of ex-convicts and sober individuals. Reluctantly, Joanne agrees to reduce Jason's sentence if John can bring in a dealer. However, it's clear she won't provide much assistance, and John bears the full risk. As John sifts through staff files, he discovers Daniel James, who had a history of drug use and faced 2 distribution charges. Daniel, currently striving to maintain sobriety and avoid a third offense, is balancing family responsibilities with his wife and young son. Towards the end of the day, as Daniel wraps up his work, John encounters him and offers a ride home. They make a detour to a cafe, where John, over a cup of coffee, broaches the topic. Crafting a fabricated story about wanting to explore the drug trade, John asks Daniel to introduce him to a major dealer so that he can join their ranks. Daniel is taken aback by John's proposition, as he had perceived John as a sincere, hard-working individual. Daniel firmly asserts that he has moved past the drug world and is actively removing all traces of it from his life. Unfortunately, he cannot assist John, as he's already undergone 2 prison terms and yearns for a fresh start while caring for his wife and young son. John increases the offer by proposing $5,000 to Daniel for connecting him with an influential figure in the drug trade. Reluctant due to the risk of facing a third prison term, Daniel declines. John reassures him that it's merely an introduction and raises the stakes to a substantial $220,000. Initially walking away, Daniel changes his mind, contemplating a safer environment for his son. Unaware that he's aiding an informant, Daniel acts as an intermediary between John and Malik, a prominent local drug lord with 2 prior offenses. Considering economic challenges, financial struggles, and a willingness to smuggle an abundant drug supply, Malik agrees. John presents his case, asserting that being a legitimate part of the company, his fleet of freight trucks would avoid suspicion and carry too much cargo for thorough searches. Malik consents, with the condition that John and Daniel drive on the first run. Preparing for the operation, John and Agent Cooper install a network of wiretaps, aiming to record all illegal transactions during the process. John and Daniel hit the road, heading towards El Paso, just a short distance from the border. At the unremarkable junkyard where they initially met, they face inquiries about their smuggling strategy. Upon meeting the drug dealers, John reveals his plan to hide the drugs within cement sacks. As they begin their work, the peaceful junkyard transforms into a battlefield when the rival gang, Baja Norte, ambushes them. Seeking cover as bullets fly, John and Daniel spot a potential escape route in their truck. They make a daring leap, with John accelerating to get away. Meanwhile, the rival gangs engage in an intense gunfight. In their escape, they crash through piles in the scrapyard, break through the front gate, and collide with several parked cars, one of which conceals an undercover police officer. Despite the odds, John and Daniel manage to escape with their truck full of contraband. Advancing through the cartel ranks, John eventually reaches Juan Carlos Pintra, a powerful figure. Impressed by John's bravery and daring escape, Boer compliments his actions to Malik, gaining respect within the cartel ranks. Late at night, John and Daniel return to John's factory with the contraband safely in their possession, accomplishing the mission under the cover of darkness. To avoid potential rumors, they exchange cars. John informs Daniel that he's going to the bathroom for a short break, but Daniel finds him hunched over a phone in the office, raising immediate suspicion. Drawing a gun, Daniel confronts John, accusing him of betrayal and questioning him about a wire. John, with anxious thoughts racing, assures Daniel that he was just making a call to his wife, pleading his innocence. Despite doubts and a lack of evidence of dishonesty, Daniel releases John. Agent Cooper follows them discreetly, keeping a safe distance and closely observing their every move as they hit the road again. Upon reaching their destination, John hands over the drugs to Malik, under the watchful eyes of Agent Cooper. During the exchange, Malik casually mentions an upcoming meeting with influential cartel figures, offering a chance for a bigger catch. Cooper seizes the opportunity, opting not to arrest Malik immediately and keeping the transaction under wraps. The following day, an enraged John reminds Joanne Keegan of their agreement. Intervening as the intermediary, Cooper suggests that the failed arrest might have been intentional, aimed at apprehending the more powerful members of the cartel. Deciding to see his son Jason at work, John encounters his ex-wife Sylvie nervously waiting in the visitor's room. Unaware that Daniel is discreetly following him, Sylvie informs John that they won't be able to see Jason for at least 2 days. She reveals that Jason is in the infirmary with 36 stitches. As John leaves the jail, an enraged Daniel confronts him, demanding to know who he is visiting. John truthfully tells Daniel, who becomes irrationally angry, warning John about dire consequences, ruthless cartel retaliation that could lead to the death of them and their families. Returning home, John finds his wife inconsolable, and Malik casually lounging by the swimming pool. Malik is aware that the cartel is seeking a meeting. At the designated location, Malik is instructed to wait outside while John nervously enters the meeting alone, closely observed by the intimidating cartel security. Facing Juan Carlos Pintra, John senses danger in the room. In a chillingly composed manner, Pintra assigns John a daunting task, transporting almost $100 million of the cartel's drug earnings back across the border to Mexico. Armed with this information, John promptly informs Keegan and Cooper about the plan. Keegan is visibly excited about Pintra's potential arrest and the fallout for the cartel. However, the cautious Cooper expresses concern about John's safety, believing the cartel intends to kill him after he serves his purpose. Despite initial reluctance, John insists on his condition for Jason's prompt release after completing the assignment. Keegan accepts his terms. John goes to Daniel's home and explains the full extent of their precarious situation. Collaborating on a plan, they devise a bold strategy to break free from both the oppressive government and the vicious cartel. John executes a cunning move by switching trucks and evading Cooper's surveillance on the initial truck. Upon reaching the location for the cash pickup, a cartel escort follows John. Simultaneously, Daniel undertakes a perilous endeavor by breaking into Malik's house. In the ensuing altercation, Daniel confronts and subdues Malik's guards, causing Malik to sustain serious injuries. As death seems imminent, Malik provides Daniel with crucial information, Pintra's cell phone number, a revelation that could change everything. Determined to alter their fates, John contacts Cooper after obtaining Pena's number from Malik's pocket. By requesting Cooper to track down his new phone and Pena's number, John effectively manages the kingpin and the massive drug haul, making it seem like a piece of cake. Soon, the cartel discovers that Jason, John's son, is an informant and secretly imprisons him. Chaos ensues in a high-stakes highway chase, with John tightly holding his shotgun and firing back at his assailants. As bullets zip past his truck, a bullet digs into his leg amid the intense crossfire. Despite the overwhelming agony, he resists the pain wave. Suddenly, he notices another attacker's car and shoots into it, sending it flying off the highway while swerving his truck. Cooper closes in on Pintra, just as the Gia raids Pena's home, revealing it empty. Pintra is already making his escape, attempting to evade detection. Cooper, acting swiftly, surrounds and blocks Pintra's vehicle with his group. Realizing resistance is futile, especially with his small son present, Pintra surrenders. Meanwhile, John continues to be pursued by cartel members even after they successfully shoot out his tires. Unyielding, John retaliates when a second attacker attempts to harm him. Striking back, he smashes his truck into the assailant's car, triggering a massive explosion. Eventually losing control and rolling his truck due to blown-out tires, John is stunned and trapped. Seeing someone approaching, he tries to reload his gun, fearing the worst. To his relief, it's a DEA agent stepping in to assist him. The next day at daybreak, a sense of relief washes over everyone as Jason is released from prison. John's family is swiftly enrolled in the Witness Protection Program. However, Daniel opts for a different path, declining the offer of witness protection. Instead, he chooses to go into hiding with his family on his own terms. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.